Hello, viewers. Today is Thursday, June 19th, 2025. I'm here to share my thoughts and opinion on the current conflict between Israel and Iran. It started off last week when Israel attacked the nuclear fuel enrichment plants in several places in Iran, and it has been going on ever since last Friday. So we are on day 7 right now. And so the question right now is whether the United States will participate in terms of a military action against Iran. So that's a big question that's been asked around the Washington circles now. And in fact, a reporter asked President Trump yesterday on whether he's intending to attack Iran or take military action against Iran. And he then said that I may or I may not, I do not know. I would know, I have not made up my mind. I would know only few minutes or few seconds before I make up my mind. And in this particular instance, he was absolutely right, because I think President Trump is still grappling with what to do, because President Trump was elected on the premise that he's going to end the endless wars, and he is also committed to the American people that he will not engage US militarily in the Middle East anymore, and he wanted to go with the America First policy in terms of trying to beef up the economy and make sure that the United States grows and all the people get their good economic output and have an upward mobility for the people that are suffering. So that is his campaign, and that is how he got elected. So now he has to make up his mind on whether he would choose the diplomatic route or he will take military action against Iran. So the next question here is, why should United States need to take a military action in Iran at this point, given the fact that Israel has successfully dismantled most of the fuel enrichment plants in Iran? But the answer lies to the fact that there is one such fuel enrichment plant in Fordo in Iran that is very difficult for the conventional bombs to penetrate. And only the United States has the wherewithal, according to the military experts, to actually bomb that particular facility so that they can dismantle that particular facility. And again, and these are all the things that are coming from the military experts and people who had researched about the bunker busting bombs. And apparently, United States has got a bomb that has not been tested yet, but it's called GBU-57AB, which is also called MOP, which is Massive Ordnance Penetrator, which could basically penetrate 200-300 feet below the ground. And this is the kind of weapon that you need to take out or to actually dismantle the Fordo fuel enrichment plant in Iran. And that's what the military experts say. I'm not a military expert, but that's what everybody from the military and from the foreign policy experts who are talking about this and who have researched about this are talking in that particular manner. So Israel needs this US help to get to a point where they can dismantle the Fordo fuel enrichment plant. And that is one of the reasons that Netanyahu is reaching out to President Trump to see if he can get involved militarily. So let's look at Trump's option. He can either go in with the military option, but if he does go in with the military option, then what are the possible consequences? First of all, this particular bomb that United States has in their arsenal has not been tested before. So they would not know how it will perform. Most likely it will perform to its ability, which is to penetrate 200-300 feet below the ground. Then what could be the potential retaliation if United States or the President Trump declares military action against Iran? This is where I think the unintended consequence could be a disruption in the global oil supply, and then the global financial markets might also get some kind of get spooked up if United States involves directly in a military action. So the global oil supply is a bigger problem for the entire world, because the Strait of Hormuz actually is on its narrowest path. It's only 33 kilometers wide, which is close to around 20.5 miles. So if Iran closes that Strait of Hormuz, around 25% of the global energy supply will get disrupted. And that would mean not only pain for the United States, but the entire world will feel the pinch of that particular action by Iran. So that is one consequence. And the other one would be, as I mentioned, that the financial markets might get spooked, and then you will have some turmoil in the financial market as well. And these two things are something that President Trump does not want at this stage, because he wanted to beef up the economy, as I said. And as it is, inflation has not come down as much as he would have wanted. And then the war between Russia and Ukraine is still going on. And there are a lot of domestic issues that he needs to grapple with. So I don't think he would want to have one more domestic economic uncertainty. And so that's one consequence that he would look at to see whether it's really worth going for that. From an Israeli perspective, if the United States does not take military action, will Netanyahu be willing to accept that they could not dismantle the Fordo fuel enrichment plant? And that is what I think is going to come down to, because I don't think Netanyahu is willing to accept that that plant being operational moving forward. So I don't know how that will pan out from an Israeli angle. Then you look at the diplomatic route. What could potentially happen on the diplomatic route? This is where I think Secretary of State Marco Rubio can play a very important role, because when you look at this foreign policy apparatus of the Bush administration, or sorry, the Trump administration, you have, when it comes to war, generally you have the defense secretary and the military, which draws out the plan, and the defense secretary will basically give you the pros and cons of the military action. But in this particular instance, Pete Hegseth is a lightweight, and I don't think Trump is going to look at him for any advice. But President Trump has already looked at the plans devised by the military leaders, and I think he has read those plans. But from a diplomatic angle, I think Marco Rubio is one person who's close to President Trump, and he has been in the Senate for quite a long time. And I believe he was also on the Foreign Relations Committee when he was a senator. So I think he's in a good position, and he has got an outsized influence now, given the fact Secretary of State will not have any influence. So Marco Rubio can potentially steer President Trump on the diplomatic route, and somehow can convince both parties, meaning United States and Iran, to come to some kind of a diplomatic solution, in the sense that they could possibly, Iran could possibly enrich up to a particular point, not beyond that, and there will be some strict watchdog agency from IAEA, International Atomic Energy Agency, who can come and monitor them. Some kind of an arrangement that normally people have to look at the other country's nuclear program. So if he has some kind of a diplomatic win, then I think Trump will be very happy, because one, it'll give him instant recognition as a leader who fought for peace as opposed to war. And also this gives him an opportunity to see if there is a valid path to get a Nobel Peace Prize. In fact, President Trump is very keen to get that Nobel Peace Prize, and that could be one of the motives, that could be one of the good motives towards achieving a diplomatic solution for this current conflict. So, there are pros and cons in each strategy, but by and large, it is better that the United States and President Trump go and approach the diplomatic solution first. And in fact, today he has said that he's going to give 2 weeks time before he will decide whether he is going to go into military action or not. But then there is another question. If he does go and get involved militarily, the next question is he going to seek congressional approval? Because successive presidents have not sought the congressional approval for any military action. Granted, it is the president that sets the foreign policy. He doesn't need the congressional approval, but remember, the Congress basically allocates funds and the Congress controls the power of the purse. So if we really need to spend more money for the war, I think it's the Congress that needs to approve the budget. So it is better that President Trump goes and tries to pass a resolution authorizing the use of military force in Congress before taking any military action, if he does want to take military action. So that'll basically at least set some kind of precedence moving forward. The presidents will always seek the congressional approval before attacking another country. And this is even more important because we all saw what happened in the Iraq War, and we also saw how that the intelligence was quite flawed in that case. And in fact, the CIA director at that point, George Tenet, said that it was a slam dunk. The weapons of mass destruction case was a slam dunk. That's what he said, and we all know what happened afterwards. So when it comes to war, it is always better to be cautious, better to be safe rather than to feel sorry. And I think if indeed, if President Trump wants to take military action, I think he should go to the Congress and get a congressional approval. But we did not know that that's going to happen. But nevertheless, let's continue to monitor the situation. And I will come back to you with another episode shortly. Thank you very much and take care.